This should be a relatively hopeful message. This is Puzzle, by the way. Puzzle's going to hang out with me for this little message because she's being good right now, which isn't usually the case. I don't usually ask you guys to go back and read something, but um, the news coming out of Washington right now is really disheartening and feels kind of hopeless and sad, and is yet one more time where we go, how did we get here? This is unconstitutional. Um, how can this happen? And I have to keep telling myself not to beat my head against the wall because there's not logic. We can't look for logic in what's happening right now. So, no, it's not constitutional. Um, when we say, oh, that can't happen because there's a rule for it, that doesn't really matter right now. Rules don't matter right now. Rules are made to be broken at this point. But there's actually an article that I wrote on the 3rd of July that I go back and read for a little hope. And it's not my hope. It's not like I'm giving myself hope because I wrote it. It's something that I researched and learned about that gave me hope for this whole process. And that is kind of back to, how we got here in the first place, how we came to America. Now, not all roses. We did a lot of really, really awful bad things coming to America, and colonization and taking of native lands and taking ownership of things that were not our own. A lot of bad stuff, and slavery, and the list goes on and on. But those things, not despite those things still exist very much. The thing to remember as far as why we got here and how we started this country and the idea of independence and an Independence Day and a brand new nation. What were we fighting for at the time that happened? And so I did a little research. Now, I didn't do this today. Today, I walked around New York City. Today, I actually went and saw Hamilton's grave, and my daughter and I went to Trinity Church, and we got to see where Eliza was buried. If you've seen Hamilton, Eliza. Sorry, I had to do that. We went around and we went to the Museum of Natural History, and we had a good day. But here's something important to remember. We talk about the Declaration of Independence. Donald Trump has never read it. He says it's a very independent document, things like that. He doesn't actually know. The Declaration of Independence had 27 grievances against King George. And King George was their Donald Trump, right? He was the one who was taking away all their rights, their DEI, whatever it was. And they were saying, you're clearly breaking all the rules. This is not the country that we want. We want to either go back to what we had before, or we want a new nation. And so they have a list of 27 grievances. There are 6 that really stood out to me that I think are very pertinent to what we're going through right now and what we're thinking about with the idea of martial law in Washington, D.C., and taking away everyone's rights and finances and health insurance and throwing people in jail for doing good work and protecting this country and, doing a good job. So here's the 6 that I want you to remember. Number 1, this was their first grievance against King George III. They said he has refused to follow the laws for the public good. That was number 1. Number 2, he has forbidden his governors to pass laws until his okay. So it says till his assent should be attained, meaning like he has to say okay before a law can be passed. Number 3, he has endeavored to prevent the population from obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners. So he discouraged immigration, King George III. They had a grievance because he was cutting off trade with all parts of the world. They had a grievance because he was imposing taxes without their consent. And lastly, of these 6, they had a grievance in the Declaration of Independence against King George III for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever, meaning no more checks and balances. Okay, so these are 6 parts, 6 grievances of 27 in the Declaration of Independence. They were fighting for the same thing that we're fighting for. And they actually had a king. We pretty much do. It's complicated. I would ask, and I normally don't ask this, if you can find this article, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's called Happy Birthday America. I wrote it on July 3rd. It gave me a lot of hope because we've been here before. And the last time we were here, we were able to overcome. Now, again, the long list that I started out with, colonization, slavery, taking away of native lands, like a lot of bad stuff. But with the intent of leaving a country that took away all rights, all trades, taxed the heck out of the poor person, and made no checks and balances for a king to create and take away laws. It's very similar. And so I would ask if you can find this article somewhere deep in my Substack. It's called Happy Birthday America. Go read it. Not because I wrote it, but because of what's in it. And I hope it gives you hope and gives you a little more endurance to keep fighting against all of the awful stuff that's going on. So you're all warriors. I just assume because you're on Substack, you're a warrior, although there are some trolls I'm noticing lately. But I think anyone who's taking the time to read and to write about any of this stuff to spread positive and truthful information is a warrior. And so I'm really grateful for all of you guys. So yeah, if you can find that article, learn a little bit of history about the US, I think it's really important. And I think it just shows you what we're capable of and where we've been before and how parallel this point in history is on a lot of levels and at a lot of points in history. But that is one big one. So, okay, that's all. I hope you have a great Sunday night and a short work week. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.